Test. Oh, cool. Sorry, that side is a bit bright, so I'm just trying to not get too much attention or spotlight on this side. So, hi everyone. I would like to say hello to all disabled and pre-disabled people in this room. So, before we start, we have heard a lot of talks these days, today, and a lot of it from the first 3 sets of speakers and whatnots. So we might be a bit quite tired and sluggish. So a bit of an interactive activity now. I don't have slides though, so this is Makoto-san, so I don't have slides. And first question, I want you to clap once if this resonates with you. And this also applies to everyone, including the supporting team from the Hasanah and all of the technical people in this room that's also doing the cameras and whatnot. So just please participate together. So first question, you know someone who is disabled, either they are your family members, your colleagues, or your friends. So clap once if that resonates with you. Okay, that's cool. Second question, you are a person with disability? Clap once. Okay, cool. Some here and etc. and whatnot. And the third question, you are working or your superior is someone that is a person with disability? Clap once. Interesting. So my name is Adura. I am the Senior Economist cum Partnership Executive at Serunai. We are a tech company, but what I do at Serunai is widely different than what Serunai actually does. So I do primarily public-private partnerships, specializing or focusing on South-South triangular cooperation modality. So we can talk about that later. I'm around here until dinner time, and you can find me and we can talk about South-South triangular cooperation and how that works. But at the moment here, being here now, what I want to say is that that is who I am now. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that was different. I could not believe that I could be here. And the reason why is because I became disabled at the age of 18. And when I became disabled, there was no support whatever to people who are newly disabled. I think a lot of people here who are disabled, who became disabled, can understand. And I became disabled at 18, just post-high school. And what happened then? I wanted to go to school because I got straight A's during my SPM. Why can't I go to school? I asked around. I went to STPM schools because I thought it would be better. What happened? They said, oh, you're half paralyzed. So basically, I only have one functional arm and leg. And they said that if I were to join classes, I need to climb up the stairs to the top of the school just to be able to access classes. Isn't that crazy? Why did that happen? So that's me being angry. And the reason why I'm here now is because of that anger I felt 8 years ago. So talking about it, did you know that less than 5% of persons with disability that we know of, because only 700,000 people in Malaysia are registered as disabled, have access or have gone to tertiary education? And I consider myself privileged because I get that. I get access to that because I worked and my family fought through it. But the point is, why do I have to fight for it? Why do I have to fight for basic necessity, for basic access, for equitable access to education? Why do I have to fight for healthcare? Why do I have to fight constantly for the past 8 years and for the next years until I die? So why do we all have to fight for it where it should have been a basic human right? And so, talking about that, so education is one thing, quality education is one thing. The second part is employment. How do we get access to employment that is not just a token-based employment, but also something that is meritocratic, something that is useful, that actually matches to what we want to do? Did you know that in Malaysia, if you are a registered person with disability and you apply for universities after your high school in SPM, you will automatically get discriminated, sidelined on the programs that you can apply. For example, if you are autistic, you can apply to science-based programs. If you are blind, you can apply to architecture, you can apply to law schools, you can apply to a lot of things. And if you have physical disability, you can only go to certain schools that may or may not be very, very far from your home. And you may not have, you will not have any access or any help in those institutions. So something that I want to point out back to the theme of this whole forum is philanthropy that listens. So why this is important? Because the problem is, why does this keep happening? Malaysia, the government has been pushing for DASA OKU 1%, so the OKU policy 1%, where they want to hire OKUs in government or ministries at a quota of 1% at a minimum. But then, where do they go? How much salary do they get? Is it at par with their education system, with their education credentials? Is it meritorious? So, but we have to go back to the fact that only 5% of persons with disabilities have access to tertiary education. And so a lot of things goes back to, why does this happen? And it's not just about persons with disability, it's about people like our speakers before, people like we've talked to before. The reason why this happens is because we do not have people with lived experience, people who matter, in the decision-making tables. So all of you are power holders here. You have the power to make decisions, you have the power, you have the access to make decisions, to give awards and whatnots and everything else. But how many of you are actually people from marginalized communities that are actually in this room making decisions for your own communities? How do we empower people in that sense? So, because when we talk about employment, when we talk about the future post-education for marginalized groups, there are usually two things. At best, it will be unaccommodating, meaning persons with, I'm going to talk about mostly persons with disability. As a disabled person, it's going to be unaccommodating because 60% of employers in Malaysia surveyed in 2021 said that hiring a person with disability is cumbersome, meaning that they cannot make the same potential, or they cannot reach the same potential as a non-disabled person could. Whereas, I work 10, 16 hours per day, God, I can do it, why not someone else? It's just a matter of giving us a chance. And why do you put that kind of stigmatization, that kind of discrimination in the first place? And then the second one is, of course, number one, at best, it's unaccommodating. At worst, it's exploitative, meaning that you use marginalized groups as as exploitation to get tax breaks, to be the face of the company, to be the face of an organization, etc., just for the sake of it, but not actually covering or addressing systemic issues. And how do we cover or address these systemic issues? If I have only one call to action for all of you here, is to actually just focus on one thing. All of us here that have been speaking, that have been talking about all of our issues, all of our problems, I've been talking enough about problems for the past almost a decade. And the only thing that I want all of you to take home is that we need more people with lived experiences, whether it's a Cik Shakri or an orang asli person who is working as a ranger. We need more people that looks like us, that do things like us, that talks like us on the decision-making table. And how do we do that? That's why Makoto-san from the Nippon Foundation comes in. Because I was a Nippon Foundation scholar when I did my master's. That's the only reason why I'm speaking here, co-speaking with him. And I'm going to pass to what he does at Nippon Foundation.
Thank you very much, Adura-san. My name is Makoto Wada. I'm from the Nippon Foundation, Tokyo. And I know I'm running out of time, but since I'm here for this occasion, if I don't say anything, my boss is going to kill me. So just save me, okay? Well, I will not talk much about the Nippon Foundation in detail. Let me give you a quick overview of the Nippon Foundation. Well, founded in 1962, the Nippon Foundation is the largest grant-making foundation. It is independent, philanthropic. and it is one of the largest grant-making foundations in Asia. And we have annual total amount of budget for all the grant program is about 400 million US dollars, and out of which 80 million US dollars goes to the overseas project. And I'm proud to say the Nippon Foundation has been a major driving force for the social changes in Japan and in some part of Asia. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. And if you are interested in the Nippon Foundation, you can find more information on our website. We have had a great discussion in the morning about employment, like inequality, disease, and the ethnic group. But I would like to talk about another marginalized group, which is the people with disability. Well, this is one of the major fields of activities for the Nippon Foundation. There are many reasons and the histories behind it. But some may ask, why so many projects about the people with disabilities? Why so much attention on it? Well, I would say, well, actually, the Adura-san mentioned it, but 10% of the 10% of the older population on this earth have some sort of disabilities. And they have families, like mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and brothers, sisters. They have friends. And you know, the society is getting old. The more people getting old, the chances for getting a disability is also going high. So we just cannot simply ignore the disability part from our society. But I have to stress this point, that the people with disability or the disability itself is not the problem. The problem is that the society that excludes from them. And we have supported many different kinds of disabilities, like visual impairments, deaf communities, and physical disabilities through the funding to the NGOs and NPOs. There are a few keywords to express to describe our support to the disability approach. One is empowerment. We have educated and trained more than 3,000 people with disabilities in Asia, and Ms. Abdullah is one of us. And second one is encouragement. Not only an academic achievement or skill development, we provide different kinds of opportunities and network for them to become the leaders in their communities and change makers in the society. The third one, actually this is engagement. It is about our own engagement as a foundation. Yes, we have a decent amount of financial resources, and which is stable, but we cannot simply solve every problem just ourselves. During a morning session, the representative from the Temasek Foundation mentioned the importance of the partnership. I totally agree with this thought. So the Nippon Foundation partner with the business sector, like the Bible 500, partner with an entrepreneurship, like the Social Impact Hub. We have even hosted an international conference called the Asia Philosophy Congress for the past 3 years. In the conference, we share the knowledges and experiences, good practices, success, maybe a little bit failure, but among the foundation in Asia. But I'm going to stop my session with my last thought. If, or I should say when, we empower and encourage the people with disabilities, they can make significant changes in the society. And when the foundations of philanthropy help catalyze that change, I think that the impact can be much greater. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.